Hi everyone, hope you guys are all having a great day today. In today's video, I'm going to cover the whole entire market in terms of S&P 500, Dow Jones, Nasdaq, economic calendar, 10-year treasury, crude oil, so on and so forth, and in terms of levels and support levels and resistance levels. Hopefully you guys like the video. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you do, like always, please drop a like. It does help the channel. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. No pressure until you see value in the video though at the same time. In terms of economic calendar, before I get to the financial stuff in terms of S&P 500 and all stuff, going to go over the calendar. So Tuesday, April 23rd, which was today, at 9:45 a.m. we had the S&P Flash U.S. Service PMI. Previously it was 51.7. This time around was expecting 52, but got 50.9. And then at 9:45 as well, a.m. S&P Flash U.S. Manufacturing PMI. Previously was 51.9, was expecting 52, got 49.9. So it was lower, which made a catalyst for the market to go up to the upside. The reason why is because it kind of reaffirms that maybe the Fed might increase interest rates with this drop. So market implied probability for a rate cut by the Fed as of September jumped to 72%, up from 67% on Monday, according to CME Group's Fed Watch tool. So because of those lower numbers, potentially it made the market believe that price cuts might be coming in the future, at least one time for this year. At 10 a.m., new home sales, they did increase. So previously it was 637,000. It was expecting 669,000, got 693,000. So lower than expectations, but at the same time was an increase. For tomorrow, Wednesday, April 24th, 8:30 a.m., we have durable goods orders. Previously one was 1.3%. This time around expecting 2.6%. And at 8:30 a.m., durable goods minus transportation. Previously 0.5, and we'll see what we get this time. Now, I do want to mention something for Thursday. We have the GDP numbers coming out, so that is a little bit important towards what I'm going to be mentioning towards the end of the video as well. Now, in terms of U.S. 10-year Treasury, we got 4.607% currently at the moment. Again, this is important because if this gets higher, goes up higher, hypothetically, technically, it takes out money from the markets in terms of stocks, and because this is more of a safer investment, right? In terms of crude oil, again, this is important for inflation numbers because energy costs was a big factor. Crude oil is at $83.40 per barrel. And then now in terms of the markets. Now for the markets, I was expecting the markets to go up for 2 days in a row, and it has gone up for 2 days in a row. The only thing is though, I was expecting that tomorrow potentially it could be going down. But because Tesla, in terms of earnings, they did miss a little bit, but from what they're stating and all stuff in terms of robotaxis, specifically the lower cost vehicle coming out early next year. And then there was also, I believe layoffs yesterday or within today. So all this catalyst and all stuff, the after hours during the earnings call, the stock has jumped to $160.40. So almost 11% jump. That is massive. And plus Nvidia is up after hours, a little over 1%. So these two big heavy hitters, let me see Tesla, Apple. Okay, so Apple's a little bit down, but two big heavy hitters are up. So I think for the most part, the market will be up tomorrow. And we could see that, for example, so I'm going to look at QQQ and SPY, which are the ETFs for Nasdaq and S&P 500 respectively. So for QQQ, after hours we are up. Technically doesn't really mean anything too much. And then SPY as well, up as well for the after hours. But the biggest thing I think is given how Tesla is high up and Nvidia is high up, I think the markets will be up tomorrow. I'm going to go over that in terms of MACD line, moving averages, and technicals, so on and so forth. But first, let me go over the Dow Jones before I go to the S&P 500 and Nasdaq. So in terms of Dow Jones, the reason why I want to show this first, currently we're at 38,503 points. And in terms of the 5-year chart right about here, let me just make sure. So we are in the bearish movement right now, technically indicating that we could be heading more lower in the long term kind of thing, not necessarily for the next few days, but specifically in a little bit of the long term. And then the 1 year as well, it's still in the bearish movement, but it looks like it's about to cross in the bullish movement. The reason I wanted to show that is because within these channels right here, the resistance levels and the support levels, we were close to bouncing off of it. So technically, we might not need to come back down and we can start going to the upside, right? Now, if you go to closer indications or closer parts of the chart, 6 months, it looks like we're in bullish territory right now, which we are in bullish territory actually in the 6 month. And then the 3 month, we're in bullish, but we're arching down. And then the 1 month, we are in the bearish and going down. So now the question is, where is it really headed? If you look at the 6 month, I think if we do go up to the upside still continuously past tomorrow, so this would be past tomorrow. Right now we're at 38,503 points, right? So hypothetically, I think this moving average will pretty much knock us down. Plus, it's a horizontal resistance level as well combined. So it's about, give or take, 38,819 points. So a little over 300 points high to go, ceiling to top, hypothetically. Now, anything can change, right? There could always be good news. And at the same time, for tomorrow, even though I believe the markets will be up, because given Tesla and Nvidia and all stuff, specifically Tesla, I think by the end of the day, the markets will arch down. The reason why is because GDP numbers come out on Thursday. So because of the anticipation of that, trying to see those GDP numbers, I believe by Wednesday, end of the day, the markets will either slow down and arch down a little bit, or pretty much arch down quite a bit, anticipation for Thursday morning. Now, and then those GDP numbers come out 8:30 a.m. And then, by the way, I do post these videos daily. So if you want to be notified when I do upload these videos, consider subscribing so you'll be notified when I do upload the next video. Thanks again, by the way, appreciate it. Now, in terms of the Nasdaq, I'm just going to go over QQQ, which is an ETF condensed version, basically, for the most part. We had an upward trend support line right about here. A bunch of resistance levels got knocked down, false breakout, came down, got knocked, tried to go past the support level / became resistance at one point, and just kept on just getting dragged down, right? And like I stated, was expecting the next 2 days to go up, has gone up. And the thing is, though, essentially, I thought for the most part, if we do go catabolic, which would include tomorrow basically, then the max would be about 430 points or $430, right? Right now we're at $425.07. After hours is at $426.73. And technically it should be stopping around $430, but I think because the markets might be going up pretty high tomorrow, potentially with Tesla and all stuff, I think we might break that level. So if we break that level, we're looking at pretty much getting capped at $432. Now, what might happen tomorrow is we'll go up, probably have a major resistance at 430. I think we'll have a difficult time to pass 430, depending on how everything is in terms of news and all stuff. And again, there is tensions in the Middle East, so who knows? That might just basically neglect everything in terms of what Tesla's doing, the other stocks are doing, so on and so forth. And at 430 becomes a major stop. It just spikes up and comes straight down, right? Or not even goes up, just comes straight down, right? Which I'll cover the lower levels anyway. But if the market becomes insane tomorrow and it breaks 430, essentially I think we would get stopped at the $432 price point because it collides with the moving average and so on and so forth. And just double check how much percentage wise would that be. So 425 times it by, let me see, the cap is 0.02, because usually they don't jump higher than 2. Yeah, so 432, I could see 432. So 432 with moving average, all that stuff, and horizontal resistance level, I think that would be the most highest, give or take probably a few cents. Okay, so now in terms of lower levels, basically what's going to happen is we're at $425. If it were to go lower, it would trickle down to essentially $421, right, for the most part, because based off the horizontal support levels, give or take $421. And then if it gets even worse, we're trickling down to basically $416 to the $413 right about here. I think we'd pretty much stop out here for the time being, just in terms of one day. But I don't anticipate a massive drop like that. Again, I think, in my opinion, this is all my opinion, so please do your own due diligence and research before buying and selling. I think we're headed to the upside. In terms of most likely the scenario, we hit 430, maybe 432, and then head back down to either 430 by the end of the day, or head back down to probably 425 actually by the end of the trading day. 425 by the end of the trading day potentially, or even 428. So either close at 428, 425, or maybe 430 if we truly spike to 432. Because again, I think tomorrow is going to be hypothetically a decent trading day. Again, that's just my opinion, and those lower levels could be tested if the market does change sentiment overall for the most part. Now, in terms of the SPY, for the SPY, we saw all these in terms of channels, or technically channels / levels, but right now for the 5-year chart, it's showing, just before I get to that actually, the price point we're at right now is $505.65. After hours is $506.02. And in terms of 5-year chart, it's showing the same thing as all of them basically. So in bearish movement, by the way, I just in case I didn't mention it, for the Dow Jones, the 5-year chart again shows downside, but the 1-year chart wants to show the crossover. Dow Jones is a smaller sample than, for example, versus SPY or S&P 500. So it could be like an early indicator potentially, or a false indicator in terms of how the market could be moving forward later on. But the Dow Jones is bigger caps basically. Now for the 5-year, is showing that we're in the bearish movement, so more downside to come longer term kind of thing. In the 1-year chart, we're still in the bearish movement, but we are arching a little bit. So this could be a true reversal. Could be, right? I just think potentially it's going to try to reverse, but then come back down. Again, that's just my opinion, just because of the 5-year chart, but that is for the longer term. Again, I just want to emphasize, just because we're, for example, in the bearish movement doesn't mean every single day is going to be on the downside. There will be up days regardless, just we've seen the past 2 days, right? Like we were in the bearish movement coming down, but still there was 2 trading days that were positive. So there's that. And then now if we get to the more closer viewpoints for the 6 month, we're in the bullish territory right now, so indicating more upside in terms of 6 month. The 3 month as well, bullish and somewhat arching down a little bit. And then in the 1 month, I believe we're in bearish, yeah. So we're in bearish movement right here. So more of a reason, I think tomorrow's trading day will be up, and then after that we're going to start heading down potentially, but we'll see. It could be because of the JDP numbers. That's the reason why I believe that the markets by the end of the trading day will be arching down, anticipation of JDP numbers. And if the JDP numbers are not that great, we could start heading back down again towards the bearish movement in terms of the 5-year chart, more solidifying that kind of movement, right? Now in terms of levels, so what levels are we looking at for tomorrow for the S&P 500 / SPY, specifically ETF of the S&P 500? If we were to head up, I think we would be colliding pretty much with this moving average. What was it? Yeah, so again, close at $505.65. We'd be pretty much hitting $508.80, and I think the utmost max I was looking at the other time. Yeah, okay, so these are the 2 levels I'm looking at specifically, because it collides with the moving average and horizontal resistance levels. It's the $508.50 when I was looking at exactly, well, give or take. Obviously, nothing's going to be exact, but $508.50, give or take. And if we do break through the $508.50, we're heading at pretty much, I don't see us passing $510. Anything is possible, but $510 is going to be quite difficult to pass. If we do, just FYI, the next level we're looking at is $511 and close to, almost $512, but it's $511.50. But I just personally don't think if we pass 510, it's going to be like 510.04 cents, right? So give or take like that. Now to the downside, if we were to come back down, I believe we'd be coming back down to the original support / resistance levels, which would be around the $503, give or take. And then after that level, we're looking at colliding at essentially 501, 502 also play a role, but coming down maybe to the clean. Yeah, I think it would be pretty much stopping at 501, to be honest. But if we do come down, I don't think we're going to go any lower than $500 for the most part. Again, give or take a couple cents, but $500 clean, because it collides with moving averages about 501 right about here, and then 499. But I think the 500 would hold up. Yeah, so 585 cents, not 585 cents, but like there's support levels nonetheless within that range. So no lower than 500. And then, in my opinion, again, this is all just my opinion, no higher than 500 for tomorrow's trading day. Again, long-term is indicating still bearish movement for the most part. We could hypothetically ultimately at one point get to $483 with this upward trend support level right about here. Again, it won't be a massive drop. It depends on when we get there. And if we get there later, it will be going up higher. So $485 if we get there later. But if we get there sooner, $482, $483 for the SPY again. But yeah, thanks again for the awesome support. Appreciate it. That's all for this video. If you do guys like the video, again, drop a like, helps our channel. Appreciate it. Hopefully you found value in the video. And if you do want to be notified when I do upload the next video, consider subscribing so you'll be notified when I do upload my next video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.